Oh, hello. We're just messing around. Just messing around. Press home to unlock. And I was thinking about checking out Jeff Grubb's new video on is this what Microsoft is planning with Xbox? For those who may not know, Jeff Grubbs is a gaming journalist, the owner of Giant Bomb. Um, this video of his has 23,000 views. He put it out on May 21st. Microsoft might be open to losing 30% on third party game sales in its store because it has bigger plans that involve putting the store on other platforms, including even PlayStation. Boom. Okay. This is huge news rumor central. The other big thing you're going to be hearing a lot about over the rest of the summer into next year, and unless it's confirmed negatively that it's not going to happen or whatever, Steam on future Xboxes. That's the big buzz right now. Xbox wanting to get out of the consoles, quit making this equipment. Just straight up game publishing and selling games. Getting back to, I guess, mainly PC gamers. And this is really interesting to me because it's something I've been saying for years that I thought Xbox was eventually when back when I'm an Xbox insider for what that means. So I've beta tested stuff here and there. Um, done a lot of surveys, all that kind of stuff. And when they first started coming out with that Xbox cloud gaming stuff, that's when I was kind of like, this is going to be the future. There's not going to be disc anymore. They're going to be streaming these games, potentially even letting you play games that was too powerful, or the consoles are not powerful enough to run. Potentially having the computations done on a server and streamed down to your Xbox to play. I've been talking about that for years. And now it kind of seems like that might be where they want to go with it. But he's got some real good takes, some real big. If this is what Xbox and Microsoft is going for, it's going to be a doozy for the world, for the gaming world. Putting Xbox on PlayStation, knocking down the wall gardens he talks about. So let's check out what he's got to say. I'm going to put a link to his video, of course, in my description if I make this a video. So
it can be confusing when we hear something like Microsoft is working to make it easier to put Steam onto Xboxes. But that's the rumor. It's been a rumor for a long time. And in the last couple of days, it's a rumor that has regained traction or gotten more attention, had the spotlight shined, had the spotlight put on it so that people are discussing it a lot more. And that's because Ecstasis, a leaker, someone who I hear his name, but I really have not kept track of his record. But my understanding is sometimes gets it, sometimes doesn't. I don't necessarily know if any of what I'm about to talk about is accurate.
He's talking about a dude named Ecstasis that leaks stuff from time to time.
I'd much rather just kind of talk about like the reasoning, the circumstantial evidence behind it, and kind of explain where, if this is happening, why it might be happening. Let's get into it. This is
if and why. And I'm kind of like him. I think that might be where they want to go. Now, whether it will.
Is a roundup of what Ecstasis said, I think, on a YouTube video, on Reddit. Someone, let's see, MX Ombre 123, kind of put it all together and translated it and put it up on Reddit. And as you can see here, here's the intro here. The big part. There's a lot of details here. There's a couple of big things. Steam/Epic integration into Microsoft Store. A new app called Steam DF Beta has appeared in the Windows Microsoft Store, allowing users to install Steam.
I'm not part of that beta insider activity. So if I was, I would probably be violating the NDA. And I'm not part of it, so I guess I can have a video and say that I'm not part of it.
Directly from the official store. The Epic Game Store is already integrated in the same way. And if you're wondering, like, oh my God, are they going to have to share 30% with Microsoft by going through their store? A couple years ago, Microsoft has already made it so people on the Microsoft Store can use whatever payment processing they want. They do not have to go through Microsoft at all. You can install it through the Microsoft Store, and then you can have your own payment processing through the store or through your app, so that when people pay you, it goes directly to you and maybe a couple percentage points to a payment processor. Epic has taken advantage of this. Sounds like Steam's going to do the same, maybe with the help of Microsoft. The Ecstasis rumor roundup goes on to say, this doesn't mean current Xbox consoles, the Series X/S and the One, will natively run Steam, but that Windows and future Windows-based Xboxes will offer an easier download/install experience. Now, one of the other rumors we've been hearing for a while is that the next Xbox would be more Windows-based, even than the current Xbox, in that it's essentially going to be a PC that can install all these other stores. To that end,
that is going to be big. If that is the case, that's going to be huge.
The rumor goes on. It says future console-like shell on Windows. Microsoft is developing a compatibility layer or shell to give Windows a console-like interface. This would be similar to Steam's Big Picture mode. It should be suitable for both PC gaming and next-gen Xbox systems. I think this is all part of the work that Microsoft is doing to make like handheld gaming PCs work well as well. We've heard Phil Spencer himself say that the Windows experience on something like the Asus ROG Ally is not great. I've said that a bunch of times.
I never played it. Don't know. I think it'd be cool to have. I just don't have one of those. Not Steam Deck or ROG.
Because I think it's bad. And they seem aware of that. They're making progress, it sounds like, in addressing that exact issue. As part of that, though, it does sound like they are completely reworking everything so that Windows can be more portable to other kinds of gaming devices, whether that's on your TV or as a PC desktop or as a handheld gaming PC. Now,
hey Jess, we're downstairs. Only one bag, right?
Of course.
I would like to see the comments on that Reddit post. Excuse me, and see if there's a
you actually
what the consensus is. That a lot of people are going to be upset.
Scroll down here, and you could see I kind of answered it right here, but that's what the video is going to be about. So let's kind of talk about here. This question right here. Actually, first, like Brave Fail says, has this dude gotten anything right beyond what is coming to Game Pass? So people are skeptical of this. And again, I don't know how much is true. I don't care. We're just talking about the implications if this were to be true. But Outside Point 8254 on Reddit says no, in response to the question, has this dude gotten anything right? But more importantly, he says, and no one has explained how Microsoft is going to be okay with losing 30% of all third-party sales. That's how consoles make their money. Also, is online multiplayer going to be free like Steam is?
This guy, Outside Point, he's a negative person. He's a naysayer. He does not want this to happen. He don't want to work. That's why he's saying this kind of stuff. But that 30% third-party sales, no, can't happen.
That's another huge revenue loss. Now, that last part is in reference to, as this rumor goes on, there's talk of an emulator so that all Xbox games can run.
Hold on, was that him?
Talk of
Grubby Game News.
That last part is in reference
Yeah, that's probably Jeff Grubb's right there.
To, as this rumor goes on, there's talk of an emulator so that all Xbox games can run on PC going forward, run on Windows. And the question there would be like, okay, so if I am playing my Xbox Live games from Xbox on PC, is multiplayer going to be free? Do I not have to pay for Xbox Live anymore and the multiplayer functionality? Maybe, probably, although the rumor says that that's not necessarily decided yet. Anyway.
That's freaking humongous. As somebody who's been paying for Xbox Live or Game Pass in some form since 2002, that's going to be big. Oh, if they do integrate this into the PC thing and this console is basically a computer workstation portal into the Xbox game space that allows you to put Steam, GOG, Epic Games installers on there to play games and cloud gaming. They don't make PC players pay anything to play online multiplayer. They're basically doing the Game Pass service if they're paying anything, and they're getting those games for free. It's going to be extremely unfair if they make the Xbox Steam box console guys pay for a multiplayer gaming service too. But all you gotta do is go get a PC and you ain't gotta pay that. Now, granted, Game Pass is cool. All those games you're able to install them and play for free right away. Maybe that goes away for them to do this.
How is Microsoft going to be okay with losing 30% of the sales of third-party games? That's how consoles make their money. That is the question from outside point here. And I think that this is an important thing to understand. Microsoft seems to have a long-term play here that isn't about making money from consoles. Now, that's not too shocking. Again, if you're watching this, you've been following it, you understand that much. But it's like, okay, well, yeah, it's still that's a lot of money. You don't want to lose that. Well, when I say they're not trying to make money from selling consoles, where are they trying to make money? And it's by trying to sell their video games everywhere. And this movement, or this like sort of maneuver that they're making here, is in line with that idea and could help them step forward into a way of making even more money. So the idea is that Microsoft is going to open up Windows and Xboxes to all the other stores. So if Epic Games wants to put their store on an Xbox, they can do it. If Valve wants to put Steam on an Xbox, they can do it. But it doesn't stop there. If PlayStation wants to put a store on the Xbox, it can do it. Now, Microsoft is doing this seemingly to be like, hey, just play wherever you want. But really, it is to prepare themselves for future regulation and maybe even potentially appearances in court, where they can argue, we did the right thing. We have opened up our ecosystem to all of these other stores. So now it's time for regulators to say this is the way forward, and all walled gardens, all closed platforms should have to do the same, including iOS and PlayStation. You see where this is heading? Now, again, this is all speculation. This is all kind of looking at the way
and that's humongous. If he's correct in his assessment that their ultimate plan could be to take down the walled gardens. I think he says that in a minute in this video. I have watched it already. In order to get Xbox on everything and to get everybody to stop getting their cut.
Microsoft is maneuvering and using that as circumstantial evidence to maybe explain some of the choices it's making, but the regulation and Microsoft's, acquisition of all of these games that do have a lot of microtransaction sales are all kind of lining up so that if Microsoft can get regulators to force Sony to let a Microsoft store onto the PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 6 so that Microsoft can sell you Call of Duty directly without having to cut PlayStation in, and Microsoft can sell you directly, billions of dollars worth of microtransactions that they no longer have to give a 30% cut to Sony for, that is a huge long-term win for them. And I think that is the direction that they're trying to push things. Will that happen? I have no idea. But I think Microsoft believes it has the sway, the power, the money, the fortitude to withstand the long timeline that this might take to make this happen. And I gotta say, looking around the way regulation is going, the winds are blowing in Microsoft's direction here. It certainly favors this idea as opposed to trying to just hunker down and keep your walled garden severed off from the rest of the world. That seems like something that isn't gonna last. Now, comments are open. Get in there. Let me know all the reasons that this can happen. I'm ready to hear them. I'll believe most of them too. There are a million reasons why this won't happen. For one thing, consoles are different than smartphones or PCs, right? They have always been this way, and they are not in the world where consoles are usurping the utility of a personal computer in the way that a smartphone has. So it's like a smartphone, you can argue, has sort of taken the place of the personal computer and our access to online and the internet and things like that.
Yeah, basically, on your smartphone, you don't even need a computer, dude. You do everything you want to do, barring gaming, but you still have mobile gaming on phones. Web surfing, email, YouTube videos, Netflix, Amazon Prime. Twitch, just pull your phone out and do it. You don't need a desktop for that.
That and Apple's practices of, okay, if you get Patreon and then you go to make up to buy something on Patreon or subscribe to someone on Patreon on an iOS device, even if you're doing that on the internet, on the web through a browser, Apple still gets a cut of that. That's crazy. That would be like calling up Domino's on the phone and AT&T, because you're using a landline that's run by AT&T, they get 30% of the money you spend on that pizza. That's what Apple was doing. That's super egregious. That is over the line, and it looks especially bad because for a lot of people, their smartphone is their computer. It's how they access the internet, and so
Domino's would hate that too.
it's different than a console. Now, is that going to matter to a judge? Is that going to matter to someone who just sees this as commerce? I don't know. So, and I think Microsoft is hoping that, you know, what makes sense for one platform should make sense for all these platforms. And in that case, it might be able to really make this work out to its advantage. In the meantime, and this is Machiavellian sort of plotting and scheming. In the meantime, Microsoft is just making so much more money selling their games everywhere that they are actually legitimately less concerned with the 30% cut that they are getting from third-party games and microtransactions, things like that. Now, Fortnite, Call of Duty, these things do make a lot of money on Microsoft's platform, but not so much on...
Yeah, you forget that. You forget that Fortnite is part of their gaming stuff now.
Just exclusively the Xbox, that Microsoft is going to forsake all the opportunities that owning Call of Duty and Minecraft and World of Warcraft affords them. They're just going to go in that direction because they could squeeze a lot more money out of that than trying to get the console in front of more people. That's an uphill battle. Yeah. Hope that made sense. I just kind of saw this popping off this morning. Thought we would talk about it real quick. Get this posted right away. Thank you for watching. Patreon.com/GameMess if you want to support these videos. Of course, I am working full-time once again at Giant Bomb.
Giant Bomb.
I own Giant Bomb now. We acquired it from Fandom. It's been a hell of a thing. So if you want to support us, go to giantbomb.com/join. That's going to enable us to do all kinds of awesome, fun stuff, including right now trying to plan our appearance at Summer Game Fest with a GB at Night couch for a couple of nights at least. So if you want to see all that kind of stuff and you want to make sure that we're able to do it, giantbomb.com/join gets you a few extras like ad-free shows and stuff like that. All right. Thank you for watching. Hit the thumbs up if you like this. If you hated everything I said, hit the thumbs down button. Until next time, have a good one. Talk to you later. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
I had a thumbs up on it. I kind of agree. It's pretty obvious that they are trying to move away from the console. And I'm a console dude. I'm 90% console gaming. So to me it's a little sad. It's a little double-edged sword. Just seeing if there's any cool comments. Yeah. KLX1 says the landscape is changing, and if you sleep on it, you get left behind. Nothing stays the same forever. And that's what we may be seeing. We may be seeing the freaking very beginning of a big shift in video gaming. Prices are going up on everything. And you got us console guys that all the PC guys complain about holding them back. You know, we can't get good PC games because the dumb console dudes gotta have games, so they make the game to play on the Xbox One and the PS5 and the Nintendo Switch and then the computer gets a port of that, and so they're choked from the beginning. I mean, granted, games look a whole lot better on PC and stuff, but if the PC guys' dream is if they could chop off the console dudes and just develop games solely for PCs, the PC guys feel like it'll be so much better. Now, granted, you still got your dudes that can't afford $3,000 PCs. And so there's still guys out there squeaking by with their $1,000 PC, their $1,500 PC, putting games on low settings just so they can play the next game. And with this potential, like Xbox Ready over here did this
With Asana,
Steam
you can manage
box.
any kind of work. From
version of a video. That did they do that? I think that's where they're going. They're trying to carry us primary console guys into there. And they're trying to capture the dudes who are already trying to be PC gamers. They're trying to leave the console behind, but they just can't afford, or they don't have the technical know-how to be, building top of the line, switching out equipment every 6 months to a year. And if they can bring the console dudes, bring the lower tier of the PC dudes and dudettes into that bubble with a Steam box that I can play MLB The Show, or I'm trying to think of console-only games where there's very few of them. I can play that and then turn around and play, something off of Steam or something off of Epic right here in my monitor, or even on the living room television. That's going to be humongous, because there's still a bunch of dudes, and there's still a bunch of people out there that don't want to fool with building a computer every 6 months to a year. Don't want to fool with, I got to update my graphics card drivers. Oh no, I tried to update my graphics card drivers, now it don't work because something crashed. There's people who don't mess with that. They just want to turn their game on. I was like, I want to play some Madden, and they go and turn it on and play it. And it's going to be interesting to watch, to see where this goes. But I'll put that down in the description. Go check it out. Thanks for coming by. If you think my ramblings are interesting at all, or just something funny to look at, if you subscribe, that helps me. If you give it a thumbs up, that helps more people see it come and make fun of me too. So, all right. I'm out of here for now. Talk to y'all later.